Okay, it's time to draw again. Time to let some ink wild. We have got over 500 people now on YouTube, and I'm extremely excited about that. Extremely grateful. Thank you for all those people who subscribed, who followed the channel. That supports the channel. It supports me. It kind of gives me that feeling that, hey, you guys, you guys kind of like the madness. So I shall keep going, and I shall keep drawing, and I shall put up my drawings every day. With quite a few up there now. So we're going to be drawing today in Indian ink. Today is my birthday. So we are going to draw some kind of birthday themed something. I think I'll start with a cake, and then I'll add something around it. I'm not quite sure what's going on yet at the moment, but let's start with a cake. So there should be multiple characters in this. We shall see how it goes. We shall see how it goes. Let's put that back on, get my TikTok friends happy. We're drawing in Indian ink. Today's pen is one of those, that's the nib that we are drawing with today. It is a slight flex to it, though it doesn't really make that much difference to me. We are drawing with Talon's ink in my little jam jar. And Mr. Miro is out chasing squirrels, if you can hear him. So we're going to start. The only thing that I've kind of got mentally planned is that there is a table there, so that's, and there's going to be a cake. Today is a very quiet birthday. It's just me and Mr. Miro today. So it's the party is what's happening in the drawing. How's that? So we're gonna have a big creamy cake. We only need one candle in it. And there's the candle there. Why do we only need one candle? Because Mr. Miro could only afford one. What's up? What's up? What's up? And that's our cake. And there's our one big giant fat candle stuck in the middle. We shall draw our cake coming down with all our layers of the cake. I'm gonna move a couple of these pens because they're starting to get in my way a little bit. And that's my big kind of cake. This is the type of birthday cake I would like to have. So if anybody wants to buy me a birthday cake, something like this. I've done it again, haven't I? I've forgotten to push the TikTok. They're gonna be angry at me. I always forget to do the beginning of the TikTok. And then people say, well, how did you draw the cake? Oh, that's a big old cake. That's what we want on a birthday. Right. And who's at the birthday party? That's... Well, I'll think about how I'm going to finish that bottom of that cake off. But let's get started with that line. In fact, I haven't drawn cats for a while. Let's do some cats. Let's do some cats. Let's do some happy birthday cats. What do you reckon on that? There's something beautiful about drawing cats. I did my old cat book with cats. Go on to Amazon, look up cat, look up my name, and you'll see loads of crazy cat drawings in the cat books. I think we did 3 of them. Loved it. It was great fun. Writing all the silly little things that went along with it too. So cats are just great to draw. Cats are just, you know, I'm more of a kind of dog person, obviously, because Mr. Mira's at my feet. I'm going to change that nib because that nib is starting to bug me. Because the flex is starting to be giving away too much ink, which is one of the problems I find with the flex nibs, is they kind of help you, support you with this bending and this flow of ink. And sometimes you don't want it. Sometimes you want a restriction. And that is what I've changed it over for. It's a little bit more of a solid, quite a big reservoir, which is the hole in the top where the ink sits. And that kind of restriction sometimes kind of helps you to pull and push the drawing. And I much prefer that. So they're very popular, these kind of flex nibs. I'm not really that keen on some of them. Sometimes it kind of works on what I'm drawing, and then some days it just hinders everything. It just says, well, you can't do that, you can't do that, I won't let you do that. And that just drives me through the roof, you know. Yeah, get a nib that's going to give you a bit of freedom. In fact, I also don't like that one. What else have we got? A different one, kind of spear-headed one. I don't know why things are not working here. And it's not always the nib, sometimes it's the paper. This is actually a thinner paper today. It's like, I think I pulled it out of the 170 packet. So this is a very thin paper for drawing. And I wouldn't usually go down to a 170. 220 is nice. I think 220, 240 around that is quite a nice kind of level to be very, very honest. I kind of be quite happy around that mark. Anything less than that, I'm not that keen. I mean, especially now with the price of paper, it's like, you know, the price of paper now is horrendous, you know. And if you're going to get a decent paper, get a good 220, 240. I think I was using some 300 earlier, which is getting towards almost like a kind of a card feeling almost, but it's cool, works good. I find the thinner the paper, the more problems you get. Simple as that. So I buy my 170 and I use that a little bit more kind of on a sketchy type drawings. I don't like the feeling of it as much. But that's just a taste thing. It's just because I'm a little bit kind of rougher with my drawing. I'm a little bit more kind of bam, 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 you know. So don't let that hold you back. Test out the paper. Test out different brands of paper if you can afford it, and do it, and just find out what works for you. If you're working with different pens, you find different pens work different on different sheets of paper. Simple as that. Right, so we are drawing some kind of cat's birthday, as it's my birthday. Looks like a very small cake now next to the cat. He's not so happy about that, is he? We'll have to make that cake a little bit bigger then, won't we? Some texture on the cake. Cool. Yeah, there's a combination there with inks and paper, you know. It's like I think the more watered down kind of inks you use on the thicker paper is just fantastic, really. You can pretty much get away with murder, really, on some of those thicker inks, thicker papers. And you can probably see a difference if you watched the video earlier. What were we drawing earlier? We were drawing the big toad earlier today. You can look at that and you can see the way that the ink is moving on the paper, and you can start to analyze a little bit more about the way the ink was flowing across that paper and not kind of pulling it like what we've got here. You know, we've got this kind of I can feel it pulling sometimes when I put, because the ink is kind of like getting in there to a point of kind of you see even there it's kind of pulling, it's pulling lumps off the paper, and that's simply by using a thinner gauge GSM of paper. And we all have our favorites. We all have, yeah. I find that for my style of drawing, I find that the harder the nib, the more beautiful the drawing comes out, because it pushes my limit. It pushes my skill level on my fingers way up. You know, I find that I'm much more kind of accurate with a more stiffer nib. Whereas I can, like with the flex nibs, I find they're kind of almost helping me, and I don't want any help. I want to be the driving force on that nib. I want to be the one that's saying we're doing this, we're doing that, and not letting the nib dictate it. And that's kind of like the same type of approaches that I have with some of those digital drawing things. They kind of do a lot of the work for you. It's like you draw a circle and they kind of perfect it for you. It's like, well, sometimes I don't want it to be perfected. Sometimes I want it to be a bit all over the shop. Same here with my drawing. The looser I am with it, the more I seem to like my drawing at the end of it. The messier it is, and the more kind of expression in the line, definitely works out better for me. But you know, like I said, everybody's different. Everybody has a different way of working. that's coming in there. Just give them a nice big collar. Right, so let's try and get a smaller cat in here. See, I think if you do analyze it, if you do slow it down a little bit maybe and look at some of the drawing techniques earlier with the toad, this type of area here, it's pulling so much in the paper, it's very difficult for me to have a smooth hair, and that's making it uncomfortable for me to kind of get my control in, because the paper is basically pulling me and saying, well, don't do that. This is our birthday cats. I mean, if I was also using a thinner paper, I would definitely not add any water to the ink. Sometimes I add a water to the ink to kind of give it a little bit more fluidity on the paper. Definitely would not be, with a 170, I definitely would not be watering down any of the ink, because it would just rip the paper apart. It would just destroy it. And that's very, very common. So like something like if you're using some of the Winsor Newton ink and you weren't kind of reducing it down, you might find that you would get away with it, with it being a slightly thicker ink. See, it's kind of giving me the way that the drawing is being pulled is kind of giving me this kind of feeling that the lines are not really going where I want them to go. I might actually do another version of this or something similar to this, but with the thicker paper, and see, because this is beginning to kind of, I'm beginning to struggle a little bit with this, and yeah. Right, I'm actually going to stop it there. This is only a very short thing. I'm finding that the balance between the ink that I'm using, which was the Talens, which is a little bit thinner, a little bit wetter, I'm finding it really kind of fighting with the drawing. And but it's a nice little fun drawing, and I'll put that up for you anyway, so you can see sometimes when things don't work out, you know. And that's a very kind of common thing with any kind of artist. It's not a negativity, it's just like a learning process. And this type of drawing, maybe this ink is too thin for this thin paper, and what it's actually doing is that when it's riding on the paper, that it's actually sinking into the paper and it's pulling. The wetness is soaking into the thin paper and it's pulling the paper apart. And it's given me some difficulty there to get my characters into a shape and into a proper construction, because especially with this character, I'm finding it's not, especially like with the hair there, it's not even looking beautiful. The messiness is not looking beautiful. So I will do another drawing. We'll do this as a learning curve. It's not, it hasn't really worked out. I'm not too happy with it. So we will do another drawing. But it's good to show you that sometimes when things aren't working, analyze it, look at it and find out why it's not working. What has happened? What is this? What is that? And it will put you into a learning part where you're actually, next time when you put down a slightly thicker paper, a little bit more of a drier ink, and try and get a better balance with it. Okay, so thank you for watching. It was a bit of fun, didn't work out, but got another drawing coming, so hang on to it and learn from everything that's happened here today. It's not a mistake, it's not a mess, it's just it didn't work out. Fine. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, thanks very much, and see you again in 5 minutes. Okay, bye.